Do you love summer? Do you love blueberries? Do you love strawberries? Do you want to know how to make the most delicious, buttery, bursting with berries strawberry bread? Okay. Do you want to know how to mix two of the world's most perfect foods, blueberries and bourbon? Yep, into a drink. Of course you do. Hey y'all, it's Virginia Willis. Welcome to Cookbooks with Virginia. This is a live stream every Friday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And on this show, I feature some of my dear friends and colleagues. We look at their books, talk about their books. You get to ask questions. It's a ton of fun. And this week I am thrilled to absolute pieces to welcome my dear, dear friend and colleague, Cynthia Graubart. Hey, Cynthia.
Hey, Virginia.
Thank you so much for coming on today. I love your books.
Thank you. Thank you.
We need to hold up a strawberry. We need like dueling books, right? So you have 2 cookbooks out at once.
I'm an overachiever. What can I say?
Well, we knew that. And okay, y'all, I have to point out that Cynthia and I did not coordinate our tops, but it seems like we chose the perfect colors. You're the blueberries and I'm the strawberries. All right, so I know we got lots of people come on in here already. Matthew Rayford's like blueberries and bourbon. That's right. That's right. And Scott's here. Start over. I am not starting over. Deidre is here and Beverly is here. Hey, good morning. And Lynn. And okay, and we've got Barbara Fountain. Yay. Hey, Barbara. It's good to see y'all. So, okay, Cynthia, we got so many people here already and lots of folks watching. And I know that a lot of people know that you had a pretty intense ankle injury. So will you just like catch everybody up? I know that everyone's glad to see your smiling face.
Well, I can't tell you how happy it makes me to be doing this because it makes me feel alive and like things are going to be okay. And yes. So I've been non-weight bearing for 7 weeks. I have 5 more to go, and then I'm going to learn how to walk. But it's all good. I make progress every day, and it's going to be okay.
Yeah, no, it is. No, and it really, it's such a, it's traumatic. Things like that are so traumatic mentally as well as physically and spiritually, you know, it affects everything. So I know what a go-getter you are. And for this to have happened, like basically when your 2 books launched, holy moly, I know that was, but I have to tell you, we may not have been able to see you out teaching classes because of the ankle or the pandemic or whatever. But y'all, Cynthia has got 2 beautiful new books, Strawberry Love and Blueberry Love, 45 and 46 sweet and savory recipes for pies, jams, smoothies, sausage, shortcakes, hand pies, salads. I mean, it's sweet and savory. You've got a little bit of everything in both of these books.
I tried to cover everything. They're small, you know, they're not big books, but
they're approachable.
Thank you. They're very approachable. And my recipe writing philosophy is I want people to get in the kitchen and cook. I want to help them conquer their fears. I want to be that little voice in their head that says, okay, I can get through this. I try to write the recipes to guide them using all of their senses so that they know when something starts to sizzle or stops sizzling or, you know, other clues, just time, because time is also experience, right?
Right.
So these are very approachable recipes, and I think people are really going to enjoy them.
Well, I think the thing is, it's like summer food. I wrote that. So y'all, there's I sent a blog post out. We have Cynthia is going to show us the photograph. She's got one there on her table. But in my blog this week, I have featured this incredible strawberry bread. Holy moly, hot fudge. It smelled so good when I was baking it. Those warm nuts and the butter. I mean, because it's got a judicious but delicious amount of butter and all those strawberries. So delicious.
Isn't she lovely?
She is lovely. Look at that golden. And so, and I have to tell you, because you know I'm a Weight Watcher fanatic. So I counted up the points in that bread, and even it's got about 7 points a slice, right? So that's not nothing. But my philosophy is you want to eat good food made with wholesome ingredients that you can pronounce, right? And so that is flour and butter and sugar and eggs and milk and nuts and strawberries, and it is about as wholesome and homemade, and it's like comfort. It's pure comfort.
Pure comfort, and so easy to do, and that's the beauty of it, is treat yourself. It's not difficult to make.
Yeah, no, exactly. So, and I love that you do your recipes. Now, y'all, if y'all have any questions, please let us know. And I tell you, to win both copies, not one, but both copies of these books, you're going to want to go to my Instagram feed. And if you're not a fan or a follower, or whatever the terminology is, please like me, like Cynthia. It's all right there in the how to do it. Tag a friend, and then on Monday we will choose a winner, and you get both copies of these books. So, and Cynthia, why don't you tell folks, will you please share with people if they want to buy a book, if they don't happen to win, where a copy of your book?
They can get it from my website.
Oops.
It's cynthiagraubart.com, and you can see how to spell Graubart right there on the screen. / if you want to go straight to the page, and all of my books are there. And I would be delighted to personally autograph, dedicate, whatever you need, if you'd like to make a special gift.
That is so great. It's so wonderful. Okay, here we go. Are there opportunities to win if one isn't on Instagram? Okay, gosh, Deidre. So when I first started this whole thing, it was meant to be sort of Instagram driven, and then it has grown. So I would say it's a multi-component. Cookbooks Virginia is multi-component, and the winning part happens on Instagram. So it's your opportunity to open an Instagram account. But if you can't win another, but go to cynthiagraubart.com and you can purchase some copies, which is of course what we always love for cookbook authors, right? Purchasing copies.
And they're only $12.95.
That's right. More about the approachable, right? And let's talk about this. So let's say, okay, I just want one book, but I can't, my budget this week is that I want one book. Would you say that a lot of the recipes are interchangeable? I mean, like let's talk about cooking with berries a little bit.
Cooking with berries. They are born for so many recipes. Of course, we automatically think of the sweet things, but really you can substitute most berries. So strawberries for blueberries, vice versa, even cut fruit. Like if you had a peach and you diced it, you could use a peach. You can use raspberries. What you have to think about in a recipe is what's going to happen to that berry in the cooking process. Does it need to totally break down? Does it need to retain some of its form in the dish? So that can kind of help you decide what you want as your substitution. And I also write recipes where you can easily make substitutions. I want people to use my recipe, look at them and say, I would like it with walnuts, or I would like it with another berry, or I would prefer a different sugar, or something like that. There is a lot you can substitute. You just have to think about what does the ingredient, what is the purpose of the ingredient in the recipe, and then feel free to substitute, because that's how you make a recipe your own.
Yeah, no, and there's some things, as you know, and as some of our some of our viewers may realize, like some things are a little bit more tricky. Like you can't just substitute almond flour for all-purpose flour. There is some science happening there, but for a great extent, with the fruit, you're exactly right. Strawberries are about this big, and you slice them and dice them, and they're about the size of a blueberry, and you can kind of mix and match. All right, we've got a question from Sue Fogg Stanley. Cynthia, keep the fruit from going to the bottom of the bread. What's your trick?
Very good question. So there are actually two schools of thought about this. I did quite a bit of research, because the scientists actually say tossing it in flour doesn't really matter. So that's, I was shocked to find that out. So I really don't have tossing the berries in flour in the recipes, because they're generally added at the if you add it at the very last minute, everything else is ready. You've got your pan ready, your oven's preheated, all ready to go. The last thing you do is fold in those strawberries and get that sucker in the oven. As soon as that starts hitting a hot oven, then the leavening starts to activate, and you're less likely for those to sink to the bottom.
Right. No, I find that too. And then also, I mean, it would have to do a lot with the viscosity and thickness of the batter. I mean, if it's a super thin batter, then gravity is going to do it, regardless of whether it's coated in flour or not.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So I do like I do. So confession time, y'all. I actually made that strawberry bread, and oh my gosh, it smelled so good. But exactly that, the batter was made, and just at the very end, sort of fold it in. And if your batter's thick enough, right, like it's not going to go to the bottom. Okay, we got a, oh wow, thank you, yay. Oh, and look at here, we got Jenny B. Willis.
Hey, Mama.
Hey, Mama. Hello, ladies. Mama is here watching my two favorite ladies. My mama is like our biggest cheerleader. So Cynthia and I, some of you may know this, Cynthia and I have a business called Culinary Media Training, some that are actually have been clients of ours. We have put our multi-year numbers of experience up to work, right? And so we won't talk about it too long because we're here to talk about Cynthia's great books. But we help people with marketing for books. We help people with media training. We produce people. We've got Madam Barry, book author, is also Madam EP, so she's Madam Executive Producer. So, but let's talk a little bit about strawberries. So strawberries, I think, are fascinating with the seasonality, because in Florida, the season is in basically the winter, and then certain parts. So you kind of can have seasonal strawberries for a long time.
Yeah, so geographically speaking, they start in Florida and work their way up. So the strawberries are just about to come into season in Maine.
Right.
So here we are at the end of June, and they're just starting. Whereas strawberries came in late November in Florida, right? So it's like,
right. Yeah, no. All right. Speaking of Maine, I know that you're heading there soon. Maine is nothing else but blueberry love. So, all right. So for the people that have never had wild Maine blueberries or wild blueberries, I want you to explain what they're like, and let's talk a little bit about wild blueberries.
So wild blueberries are just incredible. They're my favorite berry. It's difficult to get them fresh outside of Maine and Canada because they don't travel well. But you can buy them frozen, and I encourage you to please pick up a giant bag of frozen wild blueberries, because they are just chock full of great nutritious things. And they're doing studies about brain health in wild blueberries. There's a lot of good stuff, a lot of reasons to eat blueberries. But I love them. I think they just pack such a serious blueberry taste in a teeny tiny.
They're like it's kind of crazy for y'all, for those of you that have never had wild blueberries. So I love blueberries, and I eat them all the time, and I talk about it in today's blog post that I sent out this morning with the recipe included for that beautiful strawberry bread. So if you don't have the recipe, if you'd like the recipe, please go to virginiawillis.com and look on the homepage at the bottom, and there's a link to the blog post. And I talk a little bit about it because I think I use fruit as a weight management tool, right? Because I have learned about myself that I stress eat. And so instead of fighting the inevitable, I work with it, right? So, because I eat, you and I love both to eat. So I eat, and when I am stressed or just need to mindlessly eat, I'll pull out a pint of blueberries because it's something. So the wild blueberries, though, it's like if you took a whole pint of blueberries and you put all that flavor in one tiny little berry.
Exactly.
It's almost like, I feel like it's almost like that fake blueberry cereal, but it's not. You know what I mean?
Right. So I want everyone to know that you can use regular high bush blueberries in these recipes. You can also use the frozen wild Maine blueberries. And if you can't use them frozen, it says in the recipe. So, and that's very few times. Mostly you can use those frozen wild Maine blueberries. And of course, Georgia is an enormous blueberry producing state.
All right, we got a question from Angie. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about wild blueberries in Georgia because you know more about it than I do.
So unfortunately, wild blueberries don't grow in our soil. So if you think about how rough a Maine winter is, or winter in Canada, that wild blueberry plant has to survive those conditions, right? And they're grown amongst granite rock, and they're super low to the ground, and the leaves turn crimson in the fall, and there's nothing more beautiful than a wild.
Oh my gosh, it's so gorgeous. And but Angie's like, oh darn. But you know what, Angie? Cynthia, you can confirm this. Georgia's in the top 5 for blueberry producing states in the country.
Absolutely, our Georgia.
Yeah, we grow some. We're like the peach state with a side of blueberries.
With a side of blueberries, which I love peaches and blueberries together.
Oh my God, peaches and blueberries are awesome. Okay, so we're talking about favorite combinations. Let's talk about the blueberry and bourbon drink that you have in front of you, because those are undoubtedly 2 of my favorite favorites.
We're only minutes away from noon, so I think it's not too terribly shameful that I'm mixing a cocktail.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Exactly.
5 o'clock somewhere.
All right, so this is the blueberry bourbon and mint muddle. And so I have a 1/4 cup of wild Maine blueberries. And these were frozen, and I let them defrost a little bit. And I'm going to muddle these in the bottom of a cocktail shaker. That go in here. All right. And next, I'm going to add some mint leaves. Now, mint is kind of an interesting component of a cocktail, and you have to be careful with it when you muddle it. Bartenders, if you were fancy, you lay it in the palm of your hand and you snap like that and then put it in the drink. So if you over muddle mint, it can turn bitter. So by grinding and grinding, which is not the same thing as cutting with scissors or chopping with a knife, but grinding it gives you a little bitter taste. So I'm just going to pop those in here, and I'm going to just lightly tap, tap, tap. All right. And now I'm going to add a teaspoon of lemon juice.
All right, Matthew Rayford's got a question. I have this question now. Not everybody's going to have this availability, but deerberries or southern huckleberries, can you use either one of those?
Why not?
I think you couldn't get much more southern than substituting something like that. But let's keep looking at your Maine blueberry bourbon situation.
So this glorious purple
elixir
is blueberry simple syrup. And y'all, just if you buy the frozen wild Maine blueberries, if you do nothing else, make this simple syrup with blueberries.
I can't imagine how flavorful that is.
I put it in iced tea. I'll flavor a club soda with it. And then, of course, I use it for cocktails.
I flavor my club soda with bourbon.
Now, I have 2 ounces of bourbon. I don't skimp on the bourbon.
Yeah, you know.
And then just 2 or 3 drops of bitters. Here we go.
Yum.
And then,
that sounds beyond delicious, Cynthia.
Yeah.
You got that, no doubt.
So you don't have to be too vigorous. Just shake it up a little bit. And no, I didn't hear ice sound, so there's no ice in there. You don't want to water it down before it gets poured. So I've got some ice here.
Y'all, this recipe is in Blueberry Love. And if you want to win a copy of this book, I want you to head to my Instagram feed. You're going to like me, like Cynthia. Tag a friend. I mean, Cynthia is the queen of writing doable, clear, concise, approachable recipes. I mean, this is the lady that wrote The One-Handed Cook, right? When she had a little child person on her hip. So this is all about accessibility. And speaking of accessibility, why don't you finish up our bourbon cocktail?
Okay, so now I just shook it lightly, mix those ingredients. You could stir it vigorously, poured it over ice, and now I'm going to top it off with some club soda. I use my soda stream all the time.
Yeah, that's a great thing to have.
And then now I'm going to just garnish it. Now, is that not glorious? I wish I had.
Look at that color. All right, that color looks absolutely beautiful. We got a question. Sherry Ann says, can all the combinations be made without the alcohol and just use a seltzer water or bubbly instead? So I get you, Sherry Ann. I'm definitely reducing my cocktail consumption. So talk about that for a little bit. So if someone wanted to make that drink, could they skip the bourbon?
Like I said, if you make this blueberry simple syrup, and you can just mix it into club soda, serve it over ice, have the mint. You can do the whole thing and without the bourbon, and you have a delicious, cool summer drink. So absolutely.
So, and mint and blueberry is a wonderful combination. I love, don't you find that people they'll use mint to garnish a drink or maybe to garnish the side of a piece of pie? It really is good to cook with, and it does taste incredible with berries.
Mint is, and I associate mint with summer. Yeah. So I think that's part of the foods that we love the most in combination are because they're grown in the same season.
Yeah.
So that's why they taste so good.
What grows together goes together.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah. So you wrote both of these books at the same time. So how did you keep your berry recipes straight?
So it was a challenge. Cookbook writing is, it's creative, but it's also very technical. And then you have the whole file structure system on your computer, how to keep track of recipes and their stages of development when you're testing and all of that. So it was a little bit of a challenge, but the berries behave in a similar fashion. So it kind of cut down on the raw experimentation. If I knew that a process worked with blueberries, I was fairly certain it was going to work with strawberries.
Right. Because it is interchangeable. But you've got, because a lot of people think about berries are desserts, and they think pies and shortcakes and stuff, which you have, but you've also got grilled turkey and cheese with the blueberry onion jam, blueberry ricotta pizza with caramelized shallots, salmon fillets with the blueberry onion, gluten-free buttermilk corn muffins. I mean, you have a lot. Oh, yum. Look at this. Ooh, wait. Blueberry buttermilk soup, blueberry horseradish and blue cheese cream spread. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Y'all, packed with photographs. Oh, look at that. Blueberry watermelon feta salad with mint. Yeah. I can't always get this backwards. It's hard to drive.
Yeah.
Here you go. So let's talk a little bit too, Cynthia, please, about storage, right? So I'm going to go to the farmer's market first thing in the morning, and I'm going to get all these blueberries, and I'm going to get over anxious and overzealous rather, and I'm going to buy a lot. I'm going to buy too many, and I'm going to think, oh my gosh, what have I done? These are going to go bad, and they were $5.99 a pint.
Right. Okay.
So tell me what I need to do when I get home with all my too many blueberries.
First of all, don't stop along the way and leave those blueberries in your hot car. Go home, get them home, and get them in the refrigerator because berries deteriorate quickly. So you want them refrigerated, but you do not want to wash them first because washing them first encourages them to break down. So get them cool right away while you sit down with my book and plan out your recipes, how you're going to use all those fabulous berries and make a syrup, make a jam. These savory dishes. Oh my gosh, who knew that a berry could be so delicious in a savory recipe?
Right. No, I love that. A surprising combination. So we have a question from Amy Page Condon. From a savory standpoint, what is the most surprising berry combination?
You know, I really didn't think that berries and onions would go together. It just didn't occur to me right off the bat. And it's one of the most delicious combinations. It is just stunning how delicious it is. So that was really
That's
good.
probably one of your most, yeah, no, I would think so. And that kind of makes sense because, you know, you want your mouth to be happy with sour, salty, bitter, sweet. So you've got the bitter from the onion and the sweet from the berry and, you know, a little bit of lemon juice and this, that, and the other. And you've hit all those points. So we do have a question. The SodaStream appliance, tell me more how to use. Cynthia's got one. I've got one. Lots of folks have one. We both drink seltzer water a lot. That's almost all you drink. I drink more regular water, I think. But Susan, it's Google SodaStream.com. Cynthia's going to tell you about the bottle.
So it's a simple appliance that sits on your countertop, and it takes a metal flask of CO2 to put the bubbles in here. You just slip it under the appliance, screw it in, press the button, makes a little bit of noise, then it's done. Take it off, put the lid on, put it in the fridge. And you can even get those the CO2 refills on automatic reorder. So you send them in, and another package is on its way. It's super wonderful. I thought it was ridiculous to own something like that.
It saves money.
Don't pay more than you need to for it. A simple one is all you need. And you'll be glad. It's so much easier than lugging all those bottles home. That's why the first reason I did it. So,
I have to say, Amy says, I was wondering if the onion would overpower the berries, but you've answered the question. Like they complement one another. No, I love my SodaStream, and the one that I have right now, I think our friend Debbie got it for me like on Facebook Marketplace or something for $25. Like you can get them used but anyway. Check out a SodaStream. That's good. All right. So Cynthia, I have 5 questions that I like to ask everybody, and I'm super excited to ask these of you. So look at all your cookbooks behind you. And I know that you've got 4 walls of cookbooks that look like that because I've been in your office. Please tell us, what was the last cookbook that you read or cooked from other than your own?
To be honest, I got out The Joy of Cooking for a classic Caesar dressing.
Yum.
And I wanted an old school, and I thought, what's the quickest path to that? And Joy of Cooking. And I'm glad I did. It's a fabulous recipe.
Oh, that's so great. No, that's really good. The Joy of Cooking, you can't go wrong with it. Even the one that I worked on that was like the outlier that everyone despises. I enjoyed working on that book. All right. What is your most indispensable cooking tool? You got to have this one thing. What's your one thing?
You know, a knife is such an obvious answer. But I really love a whisk. There are things a whisk can do that nothing else can do.
This is true. And you can use a whisk like your strawberry bread. We use a cutter to cut the butter into the bread, which I explained in the blog what that does. But I have used a whisk before to cut butter into biscuits and stuff.
So for me, it's a whisk because nothing can substitute.
Yeah. All right. So indispensable cooking tool is the whisk. So of the 5 flavors, you've got so many delicious recipes with tons of flavors in here. Of the 5 flavors, sour, salty, bitter, and sweet, what is your go-to?
I got to say salt.
Salt. I'd have to say you would say salt.
I love salt. That's why I drink so much soda water.
So, oh yeah, there you go. There you go. No, y'all, I laugh because I've taken Cynthia some stuff when her ankle's been hurt, and it's like needs a little salt. I'm like, yep, it does. But I've started cooking with less salt, just to try to be healthy. But I love salt too.
I've been low blood pressure, so I'm okay on the salt chart.
Yeah. That's important. So, all right. So Cynthia is on I think it's okay to say because it's on our website. So you are on the committee judging TV video and such as that video rather for the James Beard Foundation. So you are on the one of the chief doodahs figuring that out. Who are some of your favorite people to watch? What is some of your favorite like video cooking content that you've seen lately?
The great thing is there is so much content. And
so much.
Many more people getting in the game. And now we have to consider all social media as providing instruction and entertainment in the future.
Oh, I just had an idea. Someone needs to submit for the digital streaming category.
Oh, hello. Gosh, hello.
I wonder who that is.
So let me clarify. I am not a judge, so I wouldn't.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't be able to judge. And this year I'm the chair of the Broadcast Media Committee, and so I help wrangle the judges.
You wrangle judges,
but I don't influence their judging at all. In terms of content, I am so old.
That's good because when I win, I don't want anyone to say it was because of my.
You heard it here first, right? I have to say, I am still, in spite of all the great content out there, I'm still old school about food content. I enjoy, some entertainment shows, but I want to learn something. And I learn every day. We all do, right, Virginia? Isn't it just amazing? Yeah. You can know so much, and then, wow, I never saw that. I learned so much from my students. It's so great.
No, I love that. That is exactly the truth. So there is so much, and I think it's fun to look at it, and it's fun, I think, to see how it's presented. It can be 23 minutes, which is a 30-minute cooking show. It can be 15 seconds, right? And it's just like figuring out who you like. So that's really cool. All right, so we're coming to the end of time, and this is a big question to ask at the end, but let's zero it in a little bit for you. What is one of your favorite food memories? And I mean, when I say zero it in a little bit, I know that you love Maine so much, and we've got Maine blueberries, and we're going to circle back to this beautiful blueberry book. What is one of your favorite Maine food memories?
I think that the first time I went to Maine, my children were little toddlers, and there was a patch of the field that belonged to the Blue Hill Heritage Trust. So you could walk in the field and you could pick berries, and that was fine. It wasn't private land, but it wasn't a you-pick farm either.
Yeah. And they're wild.
So I bought I bought 2 little buckets for my little toddlers, and they marched into the field and they start picking these berries, and because they're low to the ground, it was easy for them to pick. It's all
right
when you're tall. And we brought those back and we ate those, and it was life-changing to taste a blueberry that tasted like that. And that began my love affair with blueberries.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Yes. And y'all, if you ever get up that way, it's like it's amazing. Maine is a beautiful place for certain, and those wild Maine blueberries are good. But if you can't get wild Maine blueberries, you are still want to pick up the Blueberry Love and Strawberry Love. Cynthia, I want to thank you so much for coming on today, and I'm so happy that you're feeling better, and I'm ecstatic about these new books of yours.
Thank you so much. Great to hear from everybody too. Thank you.
I know, it's good. It's good. Okay, let's see what's happening. Y'all, thank you so much for joining me today. Dear friend Cynthia Graubart, I love her new books. I want you to please go to my Instagram feed, check them out. Check out cynthiagraubart.com. Later this afternoon, I'm super excited. I'm going to be demonstrating how to use my 150-year-old antique biscuit break. Yep. a biscuit break for beaten biscuits with the Old Mill. And you can watch that on Facebook as well. So Jimmy Profit from the Old Mill and I are going to talk all about biscuits and beaten biscuits. And Melinda Johnson, who was a freed enslaved person that created this recipe, and all about biscuits and their Forgotten Recipes project. So we can make some blueberry jam or strawberry jelly and put on top of the beaten biscuits. So join me, please, later on today at 3:00. And if you miss it, it's going to also be archived on Facebook. So thank you so much for watching. Once again, thanks to Cynthia, and bon appetit, y'all. Bye-bye now.